Welcome to Sales Tax and More, your go-to resource for all things state tax related. Now here's your host, Michael Fleming.
Mike Fleming here, founder of Sales Tax and More, and today's co-host of the Sales Tax and More podcast, where we talk about everybody's favorite topic, which is, of course, sales tax. And today we're going to talk about notice management. But first, before we get started, let me introduce you to my co-host, Ellie Moffitt.
Hey everyone, thanks Mike. It's really great to be here. We're really happy to have you here. If you like what you hear today, if you like our podcast, please like and subscribe so that we know to keep producing it. And Sales Tax and More, we are a full service consulting and solutions firm. We have a really great team here of experienced tax professionals who are very dedicated to fulfilling your state tax and related needs. So we do a lot of sales tax returns, sales tax registrations, consultations, research, and like our name states, more. So if you have questions about our services, if you'd like to work with us, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you and we'd love to work with you as well. So Mike, what is a notice? Why would someone get a notice?
Good questions. All right. So notices are communications from the state. And these communications could be about filing frequency changes. It could be because the state thinks that you didn't file a return, or that you filed the return, but you didn't pay them their money. It could be about late penalties. It could be about interest. It could be a nexus questions. I mean, notices are just communications from the state. It could literally be about anything. They sometimes are mailed the old-fashioned way, snail mail, either to your mailing address or to your physical address. Why states even ask for a mailing address when they don't often mail things there is beyond me, but sometimes they'll go to the physical address, or the state may just upload it to the online state account. So a couple of different places where the state could put them, but sum it up, make it all short. It's a communication from the state.
So we told everyone this is about notice management. We know what a notice is. Why is it important to manage notices? Why are we doing this podcast?
Well, you want to manage notices because you want to limit your exposure. I mean, if there's a filing frequency change, say from an annual to a monthly, you don't want to find out about it when you go to file the next annual return and you're missing 11 monthly returns or 12 monthly returns throughout the course of the year. So, and you could go from quarterly to monthly. You can also go the other way and have to file less returns. So that's one reason. When you miss returns, there's penalty and interest involved in that. It could be about penalty. It could be about interest, could be about missing returns. And if you don't handle these things, they tend to grow and get worse. Your exposure grows. And when we talk about exposure, we usually are talking about money, penalty, and interest. So it's important to stay on top of these notices. Sometimes the state will go out and end up closing your account, or give you a jeopardy determination, issue liens or whatever if you're not paying attention to these notices. They can also spark audits, depending on what the notice was about. So very important to number one, review your notices, and number two, to then go ahead and take whatever action is appropriate to clear that notice.
So then what is notice management? Who should handle it?
Great questions. And notice management, it depends on who's defining it. When we talk about notice management as part of our sales tax return services, we'll go out to the online accounts and we'll see what notices are out there. We generally use us as your mailing address. So we review all those notices and we go ahead and clear all of these notices. Or if we need help from you, we'll let you know, hey, this is not information that we have. Here's what the state is asking for. So when we talk about notice management, it's the reviewing of the notices all the way to the clearing of the notices. And so long as that was not a client-caused notice, there's no fee for that. We all do that as part of our service. If it's a client-caused notice, I mean, if the client doesn't send funds to pay their taxes on time, then notices are generated and late fees are involved, and we do charge a fee for that, but that's a client-caused notice. Otherwise, we handle everything. Now, some of the software companies that do returns, number one, they often don't even check the online accounts, so there may be notices out there forever. A lot of times this pops up when there are frequency changes and no one knows there's a frequency change because the software company is not checking this. And next thing you know, you get a bunch of back returns and a bunch of penalty and interest. And of course, the software company is not going to absorb any of that. So, we were talking about what notice management is. So the software companies think notice management usually is, hey, you got a notice, go and handle it, go and fix it. So their notice management is just notifying you that you've got a notice in most instances where someone's got to be fixing it. And we believe notice management should be not only reviewing it, but also fixing it. If you're doing this on your own, someone there should be checking the online accounts in each state. Someone needs to be reviewing the mail. Someone who has knowledge of the sales tax filing process and the ability to go ahead and respond to these notices. So depending on who's doing your sales tax returns, is going to influence the answer of who should be handling this, because most notices are a result of the sales tax return filing process. They're about missing returns. They're about interest penalty. They're about returns that may have been filed incorrectly. And even if you're doing everything perfectly, states are not always very efficient. I mean, you could be looking at an online confirmation that you submitted the return and that you paid the money, and the state saying, well, we got the return, but we never got the money. So some of this, no matter how good you are, the states are not too good. So there are going to be notices, even if you're doing this in-house and you're 100% accurate at doing everything, the states are still going to send you notices. And filing frequency changes, et cetera, are not related to perceived mistakes in the filing process. But most of these notices are going to be related to the returns filing process. So someone who's in that process is usually the one who's going to handle this.
And I just want to repeat something that you were saying here, Mike, just one more time, because I think it's important. If you're outsourcing your notice management, you need to make sure you understand what notice management means to the person you're outsourcing it, because it means something different everywhere, right, Mike? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
That?
Just to perfect summary, the software companies, notice management is, taking a look at, if they're your mailing address, taking a look at the notices and letting you know that you have a notice. And then you got to go out and correct it. Where for us and companies like us, we're not the only ones that do this, but you got to ask, what is notice management? What is your responsibility? We try to keep it as hands-off as possible for you, and try to do everything from start to finish. Every once in a while, we're going to need some additional information from you in order to, correct whatever the notice is about. But our goal is to have these notices fixed, before you even know about them. That's how efficient we want to be at this. And like I said, a lot of times it's just, showing the state your online confirmation, showing the state a canceled check. States aren't very efficient. Sometimes you just got to show them the documentation that you have showing that it's actually been paid. And when there are filing frequency changes, part of our service here is to go out and try to get your penalty waiver and interest waiver, because if they mailed it to you, it's a lot harder to do that. If they uploaded it to your online account, it's a lot harder to do that. But those are the ones we can find. It's the ones where you never got a notice. And a couple of states have done this recently. The state of Maryland, in particular, they sent out a lot of, or they didn't send them out. They just never got sent. And there were a lot of filing frequency changes. So we're getting all of the penalty and interest waived. So far, we've been successful with our clients here. So what's involved in notice management? What are you expected to do, and what is your third party provider going to do for you? I think it's an important question. If you think that you have it all taken care of, a lot of these salespeople out there said, don't worry about it. We got it all handled. All you got to do is sign up with us, and everything else is going to be taken care of. That's just not the case, unfortunately. So you've got to stay on top of these things. Very few software companies will go out and check your online accounts. A company like Avalara doesn't even utilize your online accounts a lot of times, so they're never in there. So you've got to have someone else who's going in there, someone like yourself, who can actually stay on top of these potential notices.
All right. And thank you so much, Mike. Anything else you want to add in about this, about anything else?
No, just that notices are important, because that penalty and interest can add up quickly, especially if you have large tax amounts. So you definitely want to stay on top of this. I also want to take this opportunity. Here's a little sales plug. When times get tough for the states, they have less state income tax, they have less sales tax, less payroll tax. So their revenue is down. And what these states do is either increase compliance efforts, or they try to look for new taxpayers. That's called a discovery effort. They're looking for people they think should be paying taxes in their state. So they often hire additional auditors. So we've been seeing more audits than we have, and we expect to see more as we're going into 2025. So we offer sales tax audit defense, and one of the things that we've just rolled out is an annual, it's a flat fee, and it's an annual audit defense. So any audits that you get between now and the end of 2025 would all be included in this flat fee here. So if you're interested in something like that, protecting yourself for any audits that do show up from now to the end of 2025, give us a call, and we'll have one of our people explain the program to you and whether it works for you. I mean, if you don't expect to be audited, or if you expect one audit, probably not the best program for you. But if you expect 2 or more audits during the year, then this is a great savings. So sorry for that little bit of an infomercial there, but I think it's a great service, and we've got a lot of people taking advantage of it.
Yes, thank you so much, Mike. And Mike mentioned that you could call us. You can also just reach out directly to me at my email. That's emoffat, EMOFFAT @salestaxandmore.com. You can also get on our website and use our contact page and reach out to us that way and see more of our information, more of our free resources, more of what we have out there. Our website is salestaxandmore.com. And Mike, thank you so much for today. Again, I want to put out a reminder for everyone. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. It helps us out a lot. And thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, and we hope to see you on the next episode of the Sales Tax and More podcast.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe and check out all the resources we have out on the web.